Hi guys, this is Attila from a third coat. So I've got an interesting challenge here at the moment on this job. So these are textured walls. The texture is put on plasterboard in most of the places. Like some of the walls are brick walls, but some of them are plasterboard. Most of them, I think these sort of most of the walls are actually plasterboard, I think. But anyway, so on a couple of plasterboard walls, there was a bit of damage. So like someone might have hit the wall and it buckled in or whatever. So I will need to do some repairs. And normally it's a straightforward job. You just fit a new piece in, apply some backing, and tape it in. But the issue with taping in this situation is that if you tape over a textured area, then that would really sort of stand out a lot more than on a flat wall, right? So because all the texture will create more of a build-up, so it would be very proud, unless there is the option of sanding back all the texture around the area that you think you would be filling, you would be applying plaster. But the issue with that is that would make the repair a larger area, a much larger area. So instead of this sort of area, you would have to sand it back on about sort of this sort of area to accommodate for feathering in the new plaster and that sort of stuff. And then, that makes it more likely that the repaired area will stand out more, because it's not easy to match the existing texture. So, what I will attempt to do is I won't actually apply tape in this situation. I know it's not ideal, but bear with me. So I'm going to glue a plasterboard piece onto the back of this hole, right? I'll glue the new plasterboard piece onto the back of the existing plasterboard wherever I can, and then once that's solid and cured enough, then I'll whack in another piece at the front here, and that backing that I will apply should be enough of provide enough resistance, along with this sort of this stud that the new plasterboard will go up against. New plasterboard little piece will go up against this stud as well, that that should provide enough resistance for the new piece to prevent cracking of the joints, because that's what we're trying to achieve. That's a reason why I would normally apply tape, but like I say, in this situation I think this will be a better option to try and minimize the area of the repair. And it's the same situation down there. You might see that big hole that I've cut out next to the door frame. So yeah, I'll do this. I haven't done this system before, but I just had to come up with a different kind of idea, and I'll see how it works, and hopefully it will be good. But I'll keep you updated. Bye. All right, so I've cut out a little piece that I'm going to use as a backing behind this hole, right? So and in order to be able to stick it on there from behind, obviously I can't reach in and push this plasterboard piece from behind, so I will have to just put a long screw in from the back of the plasterboard piece, because this I will use the normal face of the plasterboard to stick it on, because that's what I suppose that's what it's designed for. I'm not too sure if there's any difference between the back of the paper, the paper at the back or on the front, in terms of how it takes corner cement or plaster in general. So this will allow me to, once I sort of get it in, sort of sideways, get the little piece in. Sorry if I can do it with one hand. So I'll be able to sort of wiggle it in sideways, and then once it's in, I'll straighten it up, and that's how I'll put it in. And then this screw, this long screw, will allow me to pull it back onto the back of this board and to glue it on. So I'll just put some corner cement on the edges there that will join the back of this board, and then this screw will allow me to pull it in, and after it's sort of pulled on, I can just let it go, and then what I'll do afterwards, once it's hard and once it's set, I will just remove the screw by unscrewing it, and it will drop into the cavity, because this is the only way that I can do it. So I will just remove the screw by letting it drop into the cavity, right? I'll see. Yeah, just a little bit of extra thing to do in this situation, because the studs will be in the way. There's one stud here, and then there's a couple of studs in the way over there. So I can't just use plaster, on the whole thing. So there will be nothing. There will, obviously there will be this edge will not be glued to the plaster, to this plasterboard. So in order to just create a little bit of extra strength in the backing here, I will put some glue on this edge of the stud, so that this backing plasterboard will adhere to the stud. So just a little bit of extra reinforcement for the backing. And I'll use stud adhesive for that sort of stuff, acrylic stud adhesive. That's what it's designed to do. So should be all right. All right, so I've placed it in. I've just applied corner cement on this part here, which we're gonna touch the back of the plasterboard, the existing plasterboard. So I'll just use the screw to sort of wiggle it in position, and just remove any gaps there from behind. And once it sets a lot, you can let the screw go, and because the corner cement will hold it in place now, and you've got the glue here on this edge. That will take a long time, like a few hours to sort of dry properly. But the corner cement itself will cure in about less than an hour. So once it cures a little bit, I'll come and remove all this sort of excess, and I don't want to be fiddling around with it now, because it might just drop in there. So once it cures a little bit, I'll come and remove all the excess and unscrew this screw and just drop it into the cavity there. All right. Alright, so that one's there. Actually, I pulled the screw outwards. I sort of cut it outwards. Makes no difference really. So what I'll do now, I've mixed up a bit of corner cement, and I've cut a piece that will fit right in there. Just sort of bit of wiggle room around it, because I want this piece to adhere to the edge of the existing plasterboard, and that's best achieved if the piece fitted is a bit smaller than the actual hole. So that's what I've done. I'll put it in there and I'll show you what it's like. Guys, well, look, I didn't sort of show you all the little steps that I did with this one, but this is the end product. So basically, after I put the new piece of plasterboard in, I sort of, joined it with the existing outline using cornice cement, and then allowed it to dry. I added a little bit of skim coat in the end because it wasn't as smooth as as I wanted it. So I did a bit of skim coat, but I had plenty of work to do, so just let it dry while I was doing other bits and pieces, and then gave it a little sand and primed, and then just used a texture that the client provided. So they'd been using that for touch-ups and whatever, and it's a pretty decent match. So yeah, you might be able to notice the outline of the repair if you know what to look for. Just a little shadow here and there, a little sort of valley, a couple of little valleys on the horizontal valleys on the top and the bottom, but probably not that conspicuous. So I'll show you the other one as well. When the job is done now, I'm just cleaning up, but that's the other one right here. So that's pretty decent too. You can probably see there is a joint line here. That's where the top joint is of the repair. But again, unless you're looking for it, you're probably not going to notice it. Right, so that's what it is. Hope this will be of some use to somebody. Have a good day. Bye.